Um, this is interesting stuff, but with all due respect, to make change, you have to win elections. You have to be a critical political force in a country that has, a lot of traditional big political parties. How do you think about getting that critical mass, and how long do you think it's going to take? And before I finish that question, there's another thing before I forget as well, that I want to add. The idea, while it's interesting and new and exciting as well, is complicated for folks to understand,
Sure.
right? How are you going to sell this to the Nepali public who is used to hearing promises of overnight changes and revolution solving, their problems in a matter of few years? How are you going to convince them to, think that you are the one when everyone else is, giving them all those promises that all of us are aware of?
So the first question is more like, how will you win?
How will you win? And
Win.
it's just a part of it.
Alright.
I want to understand how do you. I just want you guys to put that in context of everyone else who says something similar, but perhaps has a legacy of a lot of followers, but also legacy of not being able to do the things they had promised.
Sure. I think we realize that to win, you have to deliver, and to deliver, you have to win. So there is a classical, chicken and egg problem, right?
Right.
From the first get-go, when we started our movement, before it turned into a party, it was 4 years ago. So one of the first things we realize is Nepalese people, are not going to, take any more bullshit from anyone who says, we're new, we are the radical force, we are the revolutionary forces, and it's been done enough times in the past, and most recently in the last 2 decades, right? So what can we do different? I mean, that's the question. So what we did was, let's start under promising and over delivering, which is basically every rhetoric we follow it, back it up with actions. So what we said is, for example, we said, okay, there's too many bandhas in our country, so we'll start Nepal Khulla Cha culture, no bandh culture. So we would protest, we would go out on the street, we would open up shops, we'd take our vehicles, and then it took us 4 years, but now there is no bandhs in Kathmandu, where we're very strong, by the way, So in the urban cities, it's the culture is slowly changed. So similarly, other actions that we've done is always been like, we do stuff and then we talk about our rationale behind doing stuff. So that is how you win the hearts and minds of Nepali people who are deeply cynical right now. And that's why I think the earthquake was a perfect example again, because we were not talking about doing it. We just did it, and then everyone followed. And our idea is to actually be like a positive virus, because the old political strategy is always about, if I have to win, someone has to lose. That's how politics has always happened. But then I think that we believe in the 21st century, the positive virus model is all about you doing something, setting an example, and hoping that everyone else follows. Like, for example, the transparency.
Or forcing them to follow, because
people will vote.
They have to follow to.
Otherwise, people like you would never vote. And there are enough citizens. There's a critical mass of young generation that is actually exposed in many ways. I wouldn't say exposure is much more important than even formal education. So if you realize there is 3 to 5 million Nepalese who are actually building first world nations, either it's in Malaysia or in the US or in the UK. So that is the kind of talented young people who are, who have that kind of skills. And add to that, Nepal has 3 out of 4 Nepalese are under 40. It's a very young country.
Nation, yep.
So young people have much more, are much more willing to experiment. it's not like in the past where it's like the old culture is about, you know, your father or mother was in this party, I'm also this party. But now that you're exposed to the world, I think the younger generation will use their Bibek, you know, and that's why, you know, we want everyone to become a Bibeksheel Nepali. So I think that is how we're going to win the hearts and minds of people. And you know, if you look into the way we progressed, you know, the way we are very effective, you know, we have a huge amount of followers on social media, like we have 400,000 followers on Facebook, the Bibeksheel Nepali fan page. So we have made a lot of inroads, and we hope that with that, in the upcoming elections, we will win and start delivering from the government.